Open it up for the brother Starkim. And I want to basically just say that, you know, one of the legends, you know, one of the fathers of NYC hip-hop of that golden era, this affectionately known as the 90s era, the golden age of hip-hop. You know, the brother brought not only lyrics and bars, but he brought a style, he brought a understanding, and he was everlasting because we just recently saw the brother in the video. You know what I mean? Going in, I just heard the brother's last album, and it was bars. He was highly enlightened. You could tell that he was watching. You could tell that he was drinking from that well of information that was flowing. I believe the name of the album is Hegelian Dialect. Right. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, his most recent project. So, you know, I'm in mourning right now. You know what I mean? We're losing a lot of our younger brothers, a lot of the OGs. You know what I mean? So health is wealth. Health is very important. If I could leave you with anything, I'm gonna basically say that health is wealth. You know, a lot of other things are superficial when you realize that it's about taking care of that temple, taking care of that body, taking care of self. You know what I mean? And being very wealthy within that self. So I'm gonna pass it on. I'm gonna let the brother reflect.
Yeah, peace and love. What's going on? It's beautiful that I can stand here and say that I just recently got a chance to build with that brother after not getting a chance to build him in a long time. The news kind of hit me. I do understand that we all have to transition into the higher form. And like I said, us getting a chance to get that reflection with you and brother Sadnetta and AZ for the Save Them video. People don't understand behind the scenes there was so much, you know, that had to be put forth energy-wise to even get that video in its completion. I personally know AZ was really trying to get that thing done, you know.
Yes, it was eager.
And that's a testament to say that if something's worthwhile, you'll push through it. And you should push through it because on the other side, there's something of great value to be said of that when you persevere. Sort of like a woman birthing a child. You know, if they give up, then there's a chance that two lives are lost.
Fact.
So when things come and they seem like there's a degree of difficulty, I'm not saying that you should kill yourself to get it done, but there's times you can look at it and say, this which I intend for greatness or good to happen is being met with a lot of adversity. If I push forward, there's something great. Because that song had a great vibration and a great message to it.
Facts.
You know, when Farrakhan, when we took the excerpt where that brother said, a traitor's not your brother. He hasn't learned that yet. But in the spirit of love, he said, unfortunately, brothers, some of these people he was saying unfortunately, because that's the last thing we want to do, is to go to war and to cause the seeds of discord to be sown. The life that we live is not guaranteed. So it behooves you that while you're here, you make your days count and your nights count.
Facts.
Don't be out here wasting your time, because time is a commodity for you to show what you're really made of. And having a deep conversation with that brother let me know that he's in a great place on the transition.
Facts.
We spoke about health. We spoke about taking care of the temple. We shared some intimate laughs. Like, there was no ego involved. You know, a lot of us walking around, we tense up. We too cool for school. We don't know how to just embrace one another. Like, I like that chain. Something simple as that. Like, kill the noise. Let that voice of peace keep you calm instead of keeping away from your brothers and sisters for whatever reason, because you never know what you'll be able to grow from if you exchange energy with one another. You know, what if the last time I hadn't seen that brother since we was in high school, 1991, what if I'd have been egotistical and dealt with all kind of other low vibrational frequencies where, nah, I'll catch up with him tomorrow, like it's all good.
Yeah.
No, that was the time and the place. And I just left the studio today and I did a record called No Stressing. And I opened up the record and I said, I used to think that cigarettes is the #1 killer. But so many people dropping like flies, I'm now seeing that stress is the #1 killer. And stress comes in a lot of ways. The wrong foods stress your body. Bad relationships stress you. Disease stresses you. Society, pollution in the air is a stress. There are many stresses. So that's the #1 killer. And the more you give thought to things, the stress adds on. So when you let go, and like the church folks say, let go and let God, that's a powerful statement. Let go and let the power of self be the calm. You and your brothers not seeing eye to eye, be calm with it. Time has a wonderful way to heal everything and reveal everything. The bills mounting up, relax. Because if those bills kill you, those bills go unpaid. Don't get caught up in thinking that I gotta pay this bill or else. Or else what? Live, brother and sister. Live. Don't let no bill kill you. Don't let your child's tuition kill you. Don't let who's in office and what's going on, the unconvicted cops kill you. We know what's going on. We gonna get through this together. Let's get through this together with a level head, clear mind. Because we'll be able to outlive whatever is going on in that way. So when it's time for you to transition, you transition leaving a spirit of peace. Because I'm at peace with the brother's transition. Condolences to his family. That brother's got children, loved ones. They're going to feel the impact even more because here is a breadwinner no longer there in the physical form. Someone who can teach and enlighten them is no longer there presently in physical. And no matter how astute you may be with life and death being a part of life, when it happens, it's something to make you take a step back. Yeah. You know? So we're not going to feel it like his immediate family would. But after me building with him as recent as 3 weeks ago, I feel at peace knowing that that brother's head was right. So if his head was right, I know his gut was right, where his soul rests. Yeah. And his soul here is the same way his soul was here. So I'm leading to the fact that that brother transitioned in a great vibration. So I'm not in a way feeling like, man, it's so much he could have done this, that, and third. I don't feel that way. I feel that brother was where he needed to be, and may we all get to that next level, because that's graduation.
We all going there.
And that's how I feel. So to the family, love y'all. Show each other love when you're here, because that means a lot. Talk when you can, because that means a lot. What's up, my brother?
How did you view our brother as a lyricist, as an MC? Where do you put him, like, you know, in the ranks of the greats?
Listen, and this ain't no huff and puff just because the brother passed on transition. Real talk, Prodigy had one of the most prolific verses on, I'm going to point out one particular record, but it's many he had, I Shot Ya. With LL Cool J, Keith Murray, Foxy Brown, and Fat Joe.
Remember the lyrics?
What stood out when he said, I give you all of my 2, so maybe you can 3. Prodigy forever, S-H-I-N-E. When he said, give you all of my 2, we understood that coming from the school of thought of the Nation of Islam and 5% Nation of God of Earth is being the wisdom. And 3 being the understanding. He said, I'll give you all of my 2, wisdom, so maybe you can 3, understand. Prodigy forever, S-H-I-N-E. And he's still shining right now because he's not here physically, but we still talking about him. So he spoke prophecy. He's immortalized. His verse on Shook Ones too. And I went to high school with dude. You know?
Not too long ago, because I was in the store and I seen the best of Prodigy to this.
Wow.
So I got that. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. To play that.
That's incredible. So like I said, his lyrics, because there's so many great lyricists out here. But one of those names that will probably get overlooked but then had to be recapped when we go back would be a Prodigy.
Yeah, it would be him.
I mean, Havoc was nasty on the beats. They complemented one another well. Prodigy's vocals on Hav's production,
crazy,
amazing. That's like EPMD. You know, like Paris Smith on Eric Sermon beats.
Yeah.
From what I know, the brother was in Hempstead, Long Island, Queensbridge, and also he had some West Coast ties.
Yeah.
You know, so we traveled. That's like Tupac.
And I heard 50 was trying to work on signing the brother.
No, they did a deal. Mobb Deep. They did an album. They did that. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to 50 because look, he's forever immortalized. What if 50 wrestled with himself and didn't do that deal? Yeah. how he would feel right now. Like I had a chance to work with them brothers, and one of them is not here. And that's what the thing I'm talking about when I was building. You never know what's going on. Don't let the ego get in the way. Don't let these voices crowd your head. If you feel led to do something that's right, do it. Because if you get through the other side, there's a way for you to say that, you know what, there's a reason why that was done, and I'm benefiting from that reason, being that it grew me in a way. You know, and that's what life is about, evolving, man. Evolve. And when we are finished evolving on this level, there's no need for us to be here. That's real talk. If you know everything, you smarty yardy, get ready to go.
You said something powerful to me on the phone. You said the greatest thing that came out of this is that he did something powerful and positive pertaining to the lyrics that with you, Jay-Z and them, AZ and them, you know. And once he did that, it was maybe his time now, because he let out what he wanted, what he was feeling and expressing.
Listen, he said high profile rap. When he first came in that verse, he said, my raps is like a gift from God. Like you said, you should thank God for my rhymes. Go back and check the song Saved Them. He said you should thank God for my rhymes. That showed that he was in tune, he understood words and the spells that he was cast. He don't condone bullshit bars. Fuck what you talking about? You just want to be around stars. I knock a nigga out, make him see stars. Knock off your head, you still want to act hard. Like trying to get through to you, man. On that noggin. He said he not condoning bullshit bars. Fuck is you talking about? Because he understood words is powerful, and what you say could take on life, or it could bring on death. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you saying out there, make sure you mindful of, that's all. And if you're not even saying nothing that we can make out with our ears, we definitely can't figure out where you at with it. Because if we can't hear you, that means you couldn't hear yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Did you reach out to our brother AZ?
Yeah, I spoke to the guard. We both was at a loss of words, you know, because we know. We're very astute. We know that we all must transition. But again, when these things happen, it still makes you take a step back and reflect. And do self-evaluation, like, where am I at with it? What can be done that I've been procrastinating and putting on the back burner? You get where I'm coming from? Do I have all my affairs in order? So that's what we took from that. And it wasn't too much need to be said. It was more of a energy exchange through emotion over the phone. We waiting to hear what's going on like everybody else. And we are part of the community of hip hop and a part of the human race. You get where I'm coming from? So we gonna dissect it and digest it like everybody else and process it. But definitely I spoke to the brother, and all we can say is like, yo, it's real, it's crazy.
For those of the people out there that may not know what he was going through in his life, dealing with health, dealing with the disease that he was going through, can you explain that to the people, to talk about that?
I believe the brother had sickle cell anemia, and we were all familiar with that ever since the 90s, I believe. You know what I mean? He was going through it. He was struggling with this disease for a very long time, in and out of hospitals. I read his biography. He talked about being in a hospital, being in the bed, you know, bedridden and things of that nature, and the fact that he had to change his diet. Not only what he was eating in his mouth, but his way of thinking. Henceforth, you see the change in the bars, you know what I mean? You see the change in the way that he carried himself and the things that he was giving energy to, like you said, thought forms. What gives birth based off of what you say. So when he came out, I believe one of his projects was the Bumpy Knuckles or the Bumpy Johnson album. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then fast forward, the last album was Hegelian Dialect. So he was dealing with that 360. He was dealing with that coming around.